The Trans-Siberian Railway is not a line on a map. It is a scar across the face of the Earth. Elena Vance knew this theoretically. She had written the pitch, after all. Luxury in the void, rediscovering yourself on the world's longest railway. It was the kind of headline her editor at Travel and Leisure ate up. Safe, evocative, and entirely devoid of the gritty, blood-stained journalism Elena used to do before Mosul, before she lost her nerve. But sitting in the dining car of the Zaria Express at 2 a.m., the pitch felt like a lie. There was no luxury here. The train didn't make the rhythmic clack-clack of a romantic journey. It hummed, a low subsonic vibration that rattled the spoon against her saucer and settled deep in her molars. The windows were black mirrors, reflecting only her own tired face and the empty rows of velvet booths behind her. You're staring at the glass like you expect something to look back. Elena jumped, her hand knocking her vodka shot. She hadn't heard him approach. The man was standing in the aisle, balancing against the sway of the car. He was handsome in a ruined sort of way, expensive gray suit that hadn't been pressed in days, dark circles under eyes that darted nervously toward the kitchen doors. "Just watching the nothingness," Elena said, dabbing at the spilled vodka with a napkin. "It's hypnotic." "It's not nothingness," the man said, sliding into the booth opposite her without asking. "It's taiga, millions of miles of trees that don't care if you live or die. I'm Julian." "Elena?" "American?" "Guilty." Julian signaled the steward. The waiter, a man named Dmitri with a face like a slab of granite and a uniform that fit too perfectly, materialized from the shadows. He didn't ask what they wanted. He just placed a fresh bottle of vodka on the table and vanished. "Service with a smile," Julian muttered. He poured 2 shots. His hands were shaking. Not the subtle tremor of an alcoholic, but the jagged twitch of adrenaline. He downed the shot and leaned in. "Have you noticed the stops?" Elena frowned. "What stops?" "Exactly. We haven't stopped. Not at Yekaterinburg, not at Omsk. We blew past the commercial platforms at 80 miles an hour. I checked the GPS on my phone before the signal died. We aren't on the main line anymore." Elena felt a prickle of the old instinct, the itch she hadn't scratched in 3 years. She suppressed it. "It's an express, Julian. That's why the tickets cost $5,000. We bypass the commuter hubs." "No," Julian whispered, his eyes wide. "Look at the other passengers. The old couple in car 2. They've been playing the same card game for 12 hours. They never speak. The businessman in car 5. I saw a gun under his jacket. This isn't a tour group, Elena. It's a transport." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a heavy, silver Zippo lighter. He turned it over in his fingers, the metal clinking softly. "I need you to keep this," he said, sliding it across the table. "What? Why?" "Because they're coming for me tonight, and if I have it, they'll take it. But if you have it, maybe someone remembers I was here." "You're drunk, Julian." "I'm terrified," he corrected. He stood up, looking toward the end of the car. The door handle to the next carriage was turning slowly. "Don't let them gaslight you, Elena. I was here. We had this drink." He turned and walked briskly toward the vestibule. Elena watched him go, the heavy silver lighter cold in her palm. She meant to call after him, to give it back, but the fatigue hit her like a hammer. She looked at the bottle. It was empty. She stumbled back to her cabin, cabin 3, and collapsed into the narrow bed. The last thing she heard was the hum of the train, rising in pitch, sounding less like an engine and more like a scream. Morning on the Zaria Express was a gray bruise on the horizon. Elena awoke with a headache that sat behind her eyes like a hot coal. She sat up, drinking the bottle of water on the nightstand, and waited for the memory of the night to reassemble itself. Julian. She checked her pocket. The lighter was there. Engraved on the side was a small, intricate wolf's head. It hadn't been a dream. She washed her face and stepped out into the corridor. It was silent. The train rocked gently. She walked 2 doors down to cabin 4, where Julian had told her he was staying. She knocked.
No answer. She knocked harder. "Julian, I have your lighter." Nothing. She tried the handle. Locked. "Miss Vance?" Elena spun around. It was the conductor, a man she knew only as Volkov. He was a towering figure with a white beard and eyes that looked like they had been taken from a taxidermied eagle. "Good morning," Elena said. "I'm looking for the passenger in cabin 4. We had drinks last night and he left something with me." Volkov smiled, a polite stretching of skin that revealed no warmth. "I am afraid you are mistaken, Miss Vance. Cabin 4 is unoccupied." "No, it's not. I met him. Julian. Gray suit, nervous habit of checking his watch." Volkov clasped his hands behind his back. "Cabin 4 has been out of commission since Moscow. The heating element malfunctioned. It is freezing inside. No passenger could survive the night." "I know what I saw." "Perhaps the vodka," Volkov suggested gently. "Altitude and isolation can play tricks on the mind. Please, breakfast is served." He gestured toward the dining car and walked away. Elena stood there for a moment, her heart hammering against her ribs. She waited until Volkov rounded the corner. Then she pulled a hairpin out of her messy bun. It was an old trick she'd learned from a fixer in Beirut. The lock on the cabin door was a simple privacy latch, not a deadbolt. She wiggled the pin. Click. She pushed the door open. The air was stale, smelling faintly of lemon polish. The bed was stripped to the mattress. The luggage rack was empty. But it wasn't just empty, it was sterile. There was no trash in the bin, no water rings on the table, no indentation on the pillow. But it was warm. The radiator hissed softly in the corner. Heating malfunction, my ass. Elena stepped inside and scanned the room. If Julian had been taken, it had been professional, a clean sweep. She knelt down, checking the floor. The carpet had been freshly vacuumed. She could see the track lines. She was about to leave when she saw it. Wedged deep into the crack between the wall and the floor molding, barely visible, was a scrap of paper. She pulled it out with her tweezers. It was a corner of a boarding pass. It all said OVIC. Kovic. Julian Kovic. She pocketed the scrap. The fear was gone now, replaced by the cold, hard anger that used to drive her career. They thought she was just a travel blogger. They thought she was soft. Elena went to breakfast. The dining car was occupied by the passengers Julian had mentioned. The old couple was there, playing cards. Elena watched them over the rim of her coffee cup. Julian was right. They weren't playing. They were laying cards down in random patterns, picking them up and laying them down again. Their eyes didn't track the game. They tracked the doors. The businessman was eating toast with a knife and fork, cutting it into geometric squares. He had a bulge under his left armpit. Elena finished her coffee and stood up. She needed to get to the front of the train. If this was a black ops transport, the manifest would be in the conductor's office in the lead car. She moved through the cars, Car 2, sleepers, Car 1, first class, then a locked steel door labeled crew only. She looked around. The corridor was empty. The hum of the train was louder here, vibrating through the soles of her boots. She tried the handle. Locked. She needed a key or a distraction. She went back to her cabin and grabbed the bottle of duty-free perfume she'd bought in the airport. It was 80% alcohol. She walked back to the vestibule between Car 1 and the engine car. She doused a pile of napkins in the trash bin with the perfume, then took out Julian's Zippo lighter. She flicked the wheel. The flame sprang up, steady and blue. "Here goes nothing," she whispered. She dropped the lighter into the bin. The flare flared up immediately, smoke billowing thick and acrid. She screamed, "Fire! Fire in Car 1!" Chaos. Dmitri, the steward, came running from the kitchen car. The businessman jumped up, hand going to his holster before he remembered his cover. Volkov burst through the steel door of the crew car, a fire extinguisher in his hand. "Get back!" Volkov roared, blasting the bin with white foam. In the confusion, the steel door hadn't fully latched behind him. Elena pressed herself against the wall, coughing, pretending to be overcome by the smoke. As Volkov and Dmitri focused on the trash bin, she slipped behind them, through the crack in the steel door, and into the belly of the beast. The crew car wasn't a crew car, it was a mobile command center. Banks of servers lined the walls, their cooling fans screaming. Monitors showed live feeds of every cabin, including hers. She saw the feed for cabin 4. It was empty now, but she rewound the footage on the terminal. Timestamp: 03:30 a.m. The video showed the door of cabin 4 bursting open. Men in black tactical gear, not uniforms, swarmed in. Julian fought. He landed a solid punch to a throat, but there were too many of them. They injected him with something. He went limp. They dragged him out. Then Dmitri entered with a vacuum and fresh sheets. Elena felt sick. She looked at the GPS map on the main screen. The train wasn't heading for Vladivostok.